Are you ready for some more bullshit headlines? Honestly, they make me sick. They make me sick. And they should make you sick. Should I tell you why? Because if you believe them, you are stupid, you are gullible, and you are going to make the worst financial decisions for your dealership that it's possible to do. Ford Fiestas on their own sold 76,486. Ford Fiestas on their own in 1 quarter outsold all the makes, all the colours, all the models, all the specifications of electric vehicles. It doesn't sound so good when you say it like that, does it? Does it sound like this? Does it sound like EVs drive used car market to hit 4 million milestone in strongest Q2 since 2021? So if you're a sales manager, ask yourself, are you any good at your job? Okay? Because if you are, then there's a dealer principal above you who's frightened to death that you're after their job. And I've had it in several times. They do their best to cock you up, especially if you're in a group. If it's the owner, they want you to succeed, they want you to do well. If you're in a group, and like the empire building, then you're struggling. If you believe these headlines, your job is safe. If you question them, you're too good to be a sales manager. So let's see what they say. And this is repeated through all the magazines. EVs drive used car market to hit 4 million milestone in strongest Q2 since 2021. Now, used cars sold 7.5 million last year, and it's gone up. And the EV market, the EV share has gone up. Do you want to ask yourself why? Do you think it could be anything to do with registering brand new EVs, hiding them, or registering brand new EVs and selling them, advertising them the same day as used vehicles? Or because you have certain targets to hit, you sell a new EV to a customer, not very many privates, I've got to say, or a leasing company. I showed you the other day, 2 owners. There's plenty of Mazdas, delivery mileage cars with 2 owners and well over 12 months old. 2 owners, 10 miles to 100 miles. We'll change that. Where's 100 miles? We'll change that to 20. So 20 miles, and then we'll just have a look at years. Oh look, 2022, these 8 vehicles, 17 2023. Let's just have a look. $10 miles, 2022 first reg. BMW iX, 10 miles, 2022. BMW i4, 10 miles, 2022. Kia Niro. Look how much they've knocked them down by. Nearly new, 2022. Yeah, it was nearly new 3 years ago, mate. And you're an idiot. So by Amy Turner, 8th of August 2025, what are we on today? 11th of August. The used car market surged in the second quarter with transactions climbing 1.7% to 1,996,116, the sector's best Q2 performance in 4 years, according to the Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders, who again can't count, don't know how many days are in July, and got fined for stuff that they shouldn't really do. So they have lost all credibility to me. It's just a bunch of crap that they come out with, one thing after the other. No time for them at all. They should just cease to exist, go away, and get some people in that actually know what's going on in the motor trade, know what's happening, and if anything, can try and stop it, try and deal with the manufacturers, show them where they're going wrong, try and deal with the government, show the thick government where they're going wrong, show the intelligence units that what they say isn't actually true and it's absolute bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. Here you go, fact check. New cars with petrol engines, hybrids, will continue to be sold until 2035. They're just petrols really, because nobody uses the hybrid. So all they've done there is just help the manufacturers hit the target, because they've included them, okay, as flexibilities. B, sales of second-hand petrols can continue indefinitely. Well, they will do. And you will notice the sale of used petrols and diesels, they're holding the price really well. Electric vehicles, not so much. C, industry hit its EV sales in their first year, 2024, and is on course to do so again in 2025, i.e. not proving impossible so far. Jesus Christ, this man. Look at the headlines. The leasing companies are begging for subsidies. The government have had to come out with subsidies to help promote new vehicles. Do you think that's because they've hit the target? Is it? Fuck. This guy obviously can't see the nose in front of his face. He obviously knows nothing about the motor trade and shouldn't be allowed to spread misinformation like this. This is rubbish. They are nowhere near hitting their EV targets. They've had to use flexibilities. The flexibilities are, oh, please, don't say anything. Stick a little electric motor, one of them scale electric things. Stick it in the back somewhere. Call it a hybrid. And we'll let you count it towards your target. Or alternatively, they could buy carbon credits off the likes of the Chinese and Elon. And this Colin Walker, he's replying to Lembit Opic. Forcing Britain into electric vehicles by 2030 is impossible. The longer Keir Starmer and Ed Miliband push this, the more they'll harm their credibility when they have to scrap the policy, leaving countless drivers livid at their potential electric vehicle purchase. All the Chinese vehicles I mentioned before, there's lots of them are expected to go bankrupt. Now, there's a story here. This is what will happen to you. Iowa City's entire EV bus fleet is out of commission, waiting for repairs. Do you know why it's out of commission? Because they can't get spares, because the company that made them, bus vendor Proterra, filed for bankruptcy, and the company's transit line was later bought out by Phoenix EV. Now we know why they call it Phoenix, and it's a great name for an EV because we know what EVs do. Unfortunately, once an EV has gone up in flames, and especially the buses, as I showed you the two at Universal Studios, the brand new buses that just burnt out. So that if you buy a Chinese vehicle, a little known Chinese vehicle, even the big, well-known Chinese vehicles, from what I can see and from what other YouTubers who are cleverer than me have pointed out, some of them are on a knife edge and just waiting to go pop. So you take your chances. Fisker, look at Fiskers. Lady's got one sat outside her house, she can't move it. They've gone bankrupt, they won't take it back. She's lost £40,000. If you're that daft to do that, you carry on. This marks the 10th consecutive quarter of growth, with sales in the first half of the year reaching 4,017,106 units, up 2.2% year on year, and putting the market within 1% of pre-pandemic levels. Petrol cars remained the top sellers, up 1.5% to over 1.1 million units, while diesel sales dipped 4.3%. But the standout growth came from the electrified segment, which now represents nearly 1 in 10 used car sales. Now it doesn't, not proper used car sales, not people that buy them new, run them for 3 years and then sell them, part exchange them for another. It doesn't represent them. It represents a lot of vehicles that have been artificially sold brand new, then artificially sold second hand too. Given away. They've not been sold. These vehicles have been given away and have damaged the motor trade. They've damaged residuals. They've damaged mostly residuals on used EVs. I just don't know where to start. I don't see how you evangelists can keep harping on about how good EV sales are when they're actually not selling them. They are buying customers from ICE vehicles. They're bribing people to have an EV instead of an ICE vehicle. With the discounts, with the prices, they cost more new and they're worth less second hand. Second hand, they're a bargain. Honestly, absolute bargain. I was at Just Citroen the other day and they've got some used EVs. They are a bargain. Honestly. In fact, while I was there was 2 people looking at them and I couldn't believe how, I thought, well, quite often price boards are quite hard to get out for customers. I'm going to give you a lesson how to take a price board out, okay? Because price boards, they get broken so often and they get broken by customers. What you do, with the sun visor up to the roof, you slide them on like that and then you turn it down. When a customer comes in, if you don't take the price board off first, they go and pull it off and then they break the back. Also, when they do that, the prices flick out. Now, some of them are too embarrassed to tell you that they've just destroyed your price board and that all the figures have jumped out. So they put them back to whereabouts they think they are. And many, many years ago, this is another, many years ago, we had a brand new Isuzu Trooper. Okay, and well, I say brand new, we'd bought it, done a few hundred miles second hand, and it was on the forecourt. I'm stood drinking coffee or whatever it was I was doing, and this old couple came in. And they came in very, very timid, they're holding hands, they'd come in, and he says, that car on the end there, would you take £1,000 for it? And I got, the car's £15,495. So, as I say, they looked a bit, looked a bit frail, and perhaps, no, I don't want to say that. They looked a bit frail, looked timid. I said, well, as generous as that offer is, sir, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to refuse it. And he said something like, well, take it or leave it. And I said, well, thank you, but I'm going to have to leave it on this occasion. And then they both shuffled out. And I went to the front and I watched them and they went down to the bus stop, waiting for the bus. I thought, blooming heck, what are these people doing let out on their own? Then I went and had a look at the Isuzu Trooper. And the 5 had dropped off the end. So it said 1549. But even at 1,549, that wasn't cheap enough. I mean, fair play to them. They bid us £1,000 on this car that was 15.5 grand. So you can see how discounted cars pull people in that wouldn't normally be in the market. Okay? Was that a good explanation? It's a true explanation. Petrol cars remain the top sellers, up 1.5% to over 1.1 million units. Which now, the electrified segment, which now represents nearly 1 in 10 used cars. Battery electric vehicles, BEV transactions, leapt by 40% to 68,721 units, claiming a 3.4% market share. Hybrids, HEVs, were up 27.7%, and plug-in hybrids, PHEVs, rose 10.3%. Now, those are all flexibilities to this, car target, reflecting the rising appeal of greener second-hand options, a total of 3.4%. Let's just see. So 68 68,721 divided by 140 times 100 equals. So last year there were 49,086. 68,721 minus 49086 equals. So they've gone up 19,635 units. Okay? That's the 40%. 19,635 units. Now, for a start, let me just show you this. Ford Fiestas on their own sold 76,486. Ford Fiestas on their own in one quarter outsold all the makes, all the colours, all the models, all the specifications of electric vehicles. It doesn't sound so good when you say it like that, does it? Does it sound like this? Does it sound like EVs drive used car market to hit 4 million milestone in strongest quarter two since 2021? What about this one? Every EV, every make, every model didn't sell as many as Ford Fiestas. Just Ford Fiestas. Doesn't sound so good, does it? Where have they got that headline from? Petrol cars remain top seller, up 1.5% to over 1.1 million units. Don't exactly say why. It says exactly the how many EVs? 1.1 million. How many over 1.1 million? Is that so we can't work out that petrol used car sales have gone up more than EVs, despite all the dirty tricks selling used EVs? In the UK during the second quarter two of 2025, approximately 1,134,387 used petrol powered cars were sold. These petrol vehicles accounted for 56.8% of all used cars. So when they report petrols, 1,134,000. So even when they write the stories, they can't be accurate about petrol, can they? Do you see what I'm saying? It's just a never-ending stream of propaganda. This marks the 10th consecutive quarter of growth, with the sales of the first half of the year reaching 4,017,106, up 2.2% year on year, and putting the market within 1% of pre-pandemic levels. Smaller cars stayed in demand, with super minis and low-medium vehicles dominating the market. Dual-purpose vehicle sales climbed 6.7%, while demand for specialist sports cars and upper-medium vehicles slumped. SMMT Chief Executive Mike Hawes hailed the performance as a sign of a sector regaining momentum. Obviously, he doesn't really know what's going on and hasn't looked on Auto Trader and hasn't looked at the prices of used EVs absolutely tanking, surpassing the 4 million half-year milestone for the first time since 2019, shows the UK's used car market is building back momentum. He said that's good news for the industry and for motorists who benefit from more choice and affordability, notably in the emerging electric vehicle sector. Notably. Why? Why? What you don't understand is that electric vehicles are being sold used when they're actually new, lots of them, in order to keep up this pretense. Hawes also called for urgent investment in charging infrastructure and a strong new car pipeline to keep feeding demand for used EVs. Industry figures responded positively to the latest data. Sue Robinson, Chief Executive of the National Franchise Dealer Association, noted the significance of the milestone. The used car market in July has maintained growth throughout quarter two, with transactions reaching almost 2 million, therefore returning the market to pre-pandemic levels first half of 2025. Robinson also pointed to the impact of the government policy on the future trajectory of the market. Whilst NFDA is pleased to see the used car market's growth, the impact of the new electric car grant, ECG, on used vehicle market sales will develop over the remainder of the year. Previously, demand for electric battery models has increased and shown consumer confidence. Therefore, the investment in incentives should lead to a further uptake. However, she warned that dealers still face a complex environment. The sector continues to face a number of issues despite the results of the Supreme Court decision on motor finance, and dealers will have to continue to be nimble in the face of market headwinds. Nimble. Ian Plummer, Commercial Director at Auto Trader, echoed the sentiment around market resilience. The market had its challenges this year, but it's shown huge resilience. Supply has been largely flat. Well, it's not, has it, Ian? Supply for used EVs is up. So it's not, has it? It's not been largely flat. But as reflected in the record 509 million visits to our platform in H1, consumer car buying demand has been strong, leading to stable retail prices and a near record pace of sale. Plummer also highlighted the continuing rise of used EVs. Used EVs continue to be standout. No, they don't. They just don't. They're underwhelming. As buyers look for more affordable electric alternatives, they're currently selling at their fastest rate in 9 months, while those aged 3 to 5 years old are the fastest selling segment of the market by some margin. He added that the ECG has already started to show its effect. It's underpinned by the positive response to the government's £650 million ECG. He's the only person who thinks there's a positive response, which saw an immediate spike in new EV interest of cars under the £37,000 threshold. This is likely to have a positive impact on demand for EVs more generally, including used models. Right. No. The £3,700 grant or the £1,500 grant is just a waste of taxpayers' money. Okay, so they take £3,700 from the taxpayer and knock it off a car for somebody. You know, they're taking tax off somebody who can hardly afford to feed his children so that somebody can get a cheap EV. They're taking tax off people's pensions, like me. Worked all my life on a pension, taxed. Paid in all those years. Left school, started work the next day, and been working ever since. They're taking money off me to give somebody an EV, to help somebody buy an EV, £3,700. Now that £3,700 has a knock-on effect. So they reduce it by £3,700, but then the used price, won't be £3,700. It'll be an increment of £3,700. The older it gets, the less it'll be worth. And oh no, it won't, Baz. Oh yes, it will, Baz. Okay? Oh yes, it will. Go on Auto Trader. Make sure you've got Chrome as your search engine. Download AT Price Tracker plugin, and then look at the EV experts. When the market and EVs, supposedly all this bullshit, they're going up, they're stabilising, they're not. If they were, the EV experts wouldn't be reducing their cars. Price parity between EVs and ICE cars has arrived. In Q2, the average price that dealers paid for a used EV via our platform was $16,841, compared to just over $17,000 for an ICE vehicle. A stark contrast to the £3,000 premium EVs held this time last year. This shift, combined with rising consumer confidence, will accelerate EV adoption through the used market. Big Motoring World, well, they've got places all over, but anyway, so Big Motoring World, we'll try those. They've got 660 cars. I mean, that's enough. Let's just go fuel type, electric. They've got 66 electrics. Let's just have a look at them. And we'll also go, we don't want, that's priced low to high from my other one. We want most recent search. And then I need to go down to the bottom, because if you're searching for most recent, you get the oldest ones. And the oldest ones are the ones these EVs that are flying off the shelf, and they're going a lot quicker than all the rest. Here we go. Big Motoring World. ICE cars, This was listed 25th of the 4th, 2025. So not quite 4 months ago, 3 grand, down 3 grand. It's been reduced all them times. This one down 3,800, been reduced all them times. Here we go. Down 3,400, down 3,500, down 1,700, down 1,495, down 400, down 200, down 600, down 500, down 900, down 700, down 600, down 900. So that's Big Motoring World. Car 360. Again, we'll filter. We'll go to fuel type. All electric. They're brave people, aren't they? They're not going to say, go and get yourself an ice, are they? Go and get yourself a good diesel. Lasts you forever. Lasts you 20, 25 years. They're not going to say that. John at Grosvenor, he bought an E320 diesel. Must be 20 years ago now. I still got it, still on the forecourt. Still going strong. That'll still be going when all these EVs are in the scrapyard or have burnt themselves out at the side of the road somewhere. So here we go, Car 360. Let's just see what they say again before I look at this. The strong performance of used EVs was also highlighted by James Buxton, CCO at Car 360. It's unsurprising to see continued growth in the used EV market, a clear signal that customers are comfortable buying second-hand electric. They're not. He noted growing momentum at the retail level. Car 360 continues to lead the charge in the UK's transition to electric, reporting a 40% year-on-year increase in used EV sales. So how's that work then? And customer inquiries nearly doubling. The market doubling to what? From how many? Doubling from 1 to 2? 2 to 4? The market momentum shows no sign of slowing. Even when adjusting for the rising vehicle availability, inquiries per car are up 25%. Underlying a genuine and growing appetite for used vehicles. So let me just see that. So customer inquiries nearly doubling, but inquiries per car are only up 25% a quarter. That statement can be technically true, but it relies on a couple of statistical quirks. Let's break it down. Customer inquiries nearly doubling. This could mean the total number of inquiries about used EVs is 2 times higher than before. Example, last year 10,000 inquiries total, this year 19,000 inquiries total, 90% increase, nearly doubling. Even when adjusting for the rise in vehicle availability, inquiries per car are up 25%. This is saying that even though there are more cars listed for sale, each car is still getting more interest on average. Example, last year 1,000 cars listed, 10,000 inquiries equals 10 inquiries per car. This year 1,500 cars listed, 19,000 inquiries, 12.67 inquiries per car. That's a 26.7% increase per car. So yes, you can have both. And it says it can technically be true. But it takes a lot of working out to make it true, I'll tell you. Dan Cesar, Chief Executive of Electric Vehicles UK, whose whole agenda is to promote electric vehicles, so he's not going to be biased, is he? Summed up the shift in consumer mindset. More and more drivers are doing their research and reaping the rewards of cheaper, better battery electric vehicles. The growing proportion of used in new sales market is a clear sign of early mainstream adoption. Again, that's just rubbish. That's just rubbish. As I say, Car 360, let's just see again. Here we go. Reporting a 40% year-on-year increase in used EV sales, with stock levels up 60% and customer inquiries nearly doubling. The market momentum shows no signs of slowing, even when adjusting for the rising vehicle availability. Inquiries per car are up 25%, underlining a genuine and growing appetite for used electric vehicles. Car 360. There we go, minus 900, minus 2,200, minus 2,000, minus £10,900. That's been in stock from the 1st of 5th, 2025, and it's down £10,900. Is that one of the ones that the climate intelligence think are private? If he buys it, can save £1,500 a year. Down 5,044, 15 more decreases. Down 5,034, down 3,500, down 3,500, down 500, down 2 grand, down 3 grand, down 1,200, down 2,300, down 4,000. Audi e-tron, down 3,500, down 3,000, down 1,000, down 2,045, down 8,000. Came into stock 27th of the 5th, 2025. It's down 8,000 quid, down 7,500, down 1,000, down 1,300, down 1,100, down 1,000, down 3,300, down 1,500, down 2,700, down 2,000, down 2,500. Now these, look at them. That one there, listed the 9th of the 7th, 2025. It's already down £2,500. So we heard that from Car 360. But yet the website tells a different story. You see, it's all right saying stuff when you think you can't get found out. But Auto Trader Price Tracker is a big leveller for bullshit. It's a bullshit detector. I'm going to finish there. I always remember watching completely different thing. Barrie Sheen, he had a crash, broke so many bones in his body. Somebody went to visit him in hospital afterwards, and he was smashed to pieces, laughing, good lad. And he said,
yeah, this is the one I was talking about. Sheen crashes at 170 and lives.
The green flag drops, the bullshit stops.
You got it.
the bullshit never stops when it comes to electric vehicles. And it comes from supposedly the most respected people in the motor trade. They need black flagging. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.